Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Nedarim, Parak Test, Chapter 9, Mishna Mishna 5. Okay. Paischen le'adam b'ksubas ishtay. We can make a Pesach for a person based on his wife's ksuba. Meaning, the situation here is going to be a situation where the person made a neder, and it's the kind of neder that actually creates a significant inconvenience or discomfort for his wife. And when he does so, he must divorce her if she wants. So he made a certain type of neder. That neder causes his wife significance and inconvenience or discomfort, such as if he says, "You can't benefit from me." In that situation, she can demand a divorce. And not only can she demand a divorce, he'll have to pay her ksuba. It's not considered her fault, it's considered his fault. So the fact that the person makes the neder, and through the neder, he's going to have to pay his wife's ksuba, could be a possible Pesach, a possible opening to actually annul the neder. So here's the example the Mishna says. Ma'aseh be'echad. It once happened, Shenadar me'ishtei hana. A person made a neder to have made a neder to have prohibiting himself from having benefit from his wife. Shenadar me'ishtei hana. He made a neder from his wife to have hana. I mean, he forbade himself to benefit from his wife. Clearly, that creates great insignificance or discomfort for his wife. Her ksuba was 400 dinar. That's a lot more than your typical ksuba. He came in front of Rabbi Akiva, told him the situation. And Rabbi Akiva told him, you're obligated to pay her ksuba. She has a ksuba 400 dinarim. That's what you got to give her. So the man said back to Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi, Shmeina meyais dinarin hiniach abba. Father left over 400 dinarim. That was the estate he left over. He took 400 and I took 400. Now, basically, if he has to pay her the 400 dinar ksuba, what's he left with? Zilch. So he said to him, it's not enough for her to take 200, which is plenty. But and I get the other 200? That's what he said to him. Rabbi Akiva said to him, even if you sell the hair on your head, you still got to give her ksuba. Now, the exact back and forth here, they explain it on the bottom in a very interesting way. Akiva did not mean that the husband was required to pay the entire ksuba immediately, even if doing so would leave him so poor that he'd be forced to sell his hair for food. That's what it sounds like he's saying, right? Even if you got to sell the hair on your head, you still got to pay the ksuba. It does so. So the point there, you're showing him it brings down here from the Ran that that's not what he's saying. He's not saying you got to give her everything that you got and now sell the hair on your head to buy yourself some food. He is in fact allowed to keep enough money for his basic needs. That's a fact. He's allowed to keep what he needs for his basic needs. Rather, Akiva meant that the obligation to pay the ksuba remains in force until it is fully paid. And even if he goes beyond his obligation and give her all he owns, he must still pay the rest of the ksuba whenever he gets more money. He therefore told the husband, even if you must sell the hair on your head for food because you went beyond your obligation and gave her everything you had, you remain obligated to pay her the rest. Now in this case, I'm not sure if that would have been because the ksuba was 400, and the question was how much to pay. Now, so what we're saying here, Akiva said to him, look, even if you decide you don't have to give her everything, you're allowed to hold on to your basic needs. If you decide not to do that, you want to go beyond, that's not going to say, well, I went beyond, that's all I got to do. Leave me something. No, because let's say you went beyond your means and you gave her more, and you gave it to pay her ksuba even more than what you can afford. All right. And now because of that, you decided to give her whatever you decided to give her basically, everything you had. And because of that, now you got to sell your hair to buy food. At the end of the day, if that's not enough to take care of the whole ksuba, the obligation still stands. At some point, you got to pay her. So in this case, where the ksuba was 400, he would have given her 400, he would have taken care of everything right away. But Rabbi Akiva's point to say is that you can't say, well, it's enough. She'll get enough if she has 200 and I'll keep 200. The point Rabbi Akiva said to him was, you can't do that. It doesn't help. You obligated yourself to pay a ksuba 400. At some point in time, you got to pay her 400. And even if it comes out that even though the halacha is you can keep your basic needs, and you decide to go beyond that, you give her more than and you deprive yourself your basic needs to give her more. But at the end of the day, you still, and now because you deprived yourself, you got to sell your hair to go ahead and buy food. At the end of the day, if you didn't pay up the ksuba, you still have to pay it. And therefore, he said to him, there's no way for you to get out of this. Okay, so that's what Rabbi Akiva said to him. Even if you sold the hair on your head in order to buy food, you still got to give her ksuba. At some point, you got to finish paying her. So now the man's Rabbi Akiva, if I would have known so, this is what we're trying. This is the punchline. If I would have known so, if I would have known that I'm going to have to pay her the whole ksuba, I wouldn't have made a neder. If I would have known that through this neder, it could come out that she demanded divorce, I have to pay her the ksuba, and I would be and I'd be giving and again in this case 400 dinar ksuba. I wouldn't want to do that. That's what he said. I wouldn't have made a neder. The Tira Rabbi Akiva. And because of that, Rabbi Akiva now permitted her to have benefit from him. Because this is the example. The Pesach was her ksuba. Her ksuba was a Pesach. The point here is that it comes out that, apparently this person is saying, if I would have known I'd have to pay this whole ksuba because of my neder, I would not have done it. And therefore, the Mishna is saying, Rabbi Akiva used that as the Pesach to now annul the neder, and she was able to have enough from him. He was allowed to have enough from her, rather. And hopefully they lived happily ever after. But the point is that this was the Pesach that he used. It was her ksuba that he used as the Pesach, the opening to annul the neder. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. What does it mean to sell the hair on your head?
It's